Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, for another night of doubleheader action from PM18s and the USF2000s. My name is Patrick Byrne. Joining me tonight is going to be the great James Watson. This week we are at the great Virginia International Speedway down in Virginia. Fantastic track. Rip Oak Tree, of course, as always. Coming into qualifying right now. Now, James, you have a little more experience at this track than I do. Maybe you could tell me a thing or two about what this place is all about.
I can sure tell you a thing or two about going off into the tire barriers. I know a lot more about the tire barriers than I do the actual track surface of this place. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about this circuit. This is arguably one of, if not the toughest on iRacing. So everyone's going to be in a really tough challenge. Like, if you can keep the car on the track and survive, you're probably going to get a good finish, because even with the talent level in this series, it's still just a hard track to deal with.
Yeah, I've done a couple races here, and it seems like it's an incredibly difficult track to drive. But it's also incredibly fast. These straightaways make for huge drafting opportunities. I was watching our buddy Rhett a little bit earlier, and he was running a super high downforce setup, so losing it down the straightaways, but he did claim the world record for race speed, so obviously doing something right.
Yeah, it's weird. You need the downforce, but like you lose so much on the straightaway. But like personally, you need the downforce to get through these corners. These corners are really difficult. So if you're what good is the downforce if you're dying before you even get to the straightaways?
Yeah, you really have to take advantage of the downforce and just try and get everyone in the braking zones.
Yeah, oddly enough, this section right here, the S's, you don't really need as much downforce as you think, because you can actually just kind of straight throt through those full throttle with no issues. It's when you get up to this really difficult left-hander right up here, it's so easy to air mill it off. You have no runoff, so you can put it in the grass really easily. And then, moment of silence for our friend the oak tree. And then
Yes.
coming up here, this is the death section. We're gonna see a lot of people. If you're gonna go off the track, you're gonna go off here. It's so deceptive. Your turning points, your apexes, so much elevation change. It's just really easy to make a mistake through here.
Here we go. Now times are coming on the board. Carter Lundy taking the pole so far. Richard Holt about 2 seconds behind Carter Lundy. Brian Labarge coming in fourth. David Bercelli up to second now. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, the law firm, of course, up to second. Still nobody able to touch Lundy's time.
Good to see Carter back. We haven't seen him a whole lot this season in the PM18, so it's good to have him back. You know, he was here last week, and it led to an incredible finish, although one Everett Paddock may have a different opinion of that finish, but for everyone watching, it was sure interesting.
Carter Lundy just so absolutely smooth on the throttle, on the brake in these cars. We can ride on board with him as he takes his second lap. Sitting right on top of the roll hoop as he's now coming down the front straightaway. Just incredibly long in these cars. This car is obviously not very powerful. Apparently, he doesn't think he has much more to give it because hit the brakes long before the start-finish line. Brian Labarge taking another lap now. He ends up in the 5th position. 6 now that Richard Holt sets his second lap. David Percelli now up to 3rd. Nobody able to get close to Carter Lundy. The closest guy is going to be Ted Burns up in 2nd position, 3/10 back. Mobin Khan currently on his 2nd lap and finishing that one up. So he is going to put himself in the 9th position tonight for qualifying in the PM18 race.
Yeah, I do gotta say, it's nice to see the turnout we got for tonight. You know, VIR, even though it's a free track, it is an incredibly difficult track to run, as I've said multiple times tonight. So you tend to see participation wane a little bit in weeks where a series is running it. So the fact that we got this many cars signed up, it's great to see. It's such an incredible track too. You know, so glad seeing people give it a chance.
I disagree with this place being low participation still. I'm dating myself on iRacing here, but this track wasn't always free, and this track used to be a ghost land. And now that it's been a free track, races regularly go official here. People are starting to enjoy what a fun track this is.
And that's precisely why iRacing made it a free track, and it's one of the best decisions they ever made. Because, like, people they either take a look at the track or the low participation it gets, and we're just like, I don't really see a need in buying it. But now that they have it and they can see.
If you look right under Barney there and just look at the track layout, it just looks daunting.
Yeah. A whole lot of nope.
So 20 seconds remaining here in qualifying. Nobody left out on track. So, except we see someone just coasting down. Looks to be Michael Holler. He's still on one hell of a fast lap. Let's see if he can improve on his time and try and get himself out of that 11th position. Not going to do it in time. Barely missing the start line, so he is going to roll off in the 11th position tonight. So as we wait for all of the drivers to get onto the grid now. These guys will be doing a full pace lap, which is a brutally long time to be rolling around this racetrack. Let's see who we can drag up. We'll bring in Carter Lundy for a little pre-race interview. And hey, Carter, what's going on? It's Patrick up here in the booth. You got the pole tonight, and you got it by a bunch. Have you been practicing a lot at this track, or just natural talent?
Wow, I'm being taken in for an interview before the race.
Yeah, it's a new thing we're starting to do.
No Chris tonight?
No Chris tonight. He is attending a graduation. Congratulations to him, his family. So he won't be here tonight. So it's just me and James in the booth.
All right, sounds good. Hope you guys enjoy it. Doing it on your own.
Hell yeah. And are you looking forward to a good race? Have a lot of confidence here, or a little shaky, a little worried tonight?
Yeah, I don't know if confidence is the word. I did a pretty good lap in quali, I guess, but I got home with 15 minutes till the race, jumped on and learned the track pretty quickly. Not the track, but the car track combo. I did a little bit in the USF in the past few days, but I did just get the braking points down and get it figured out in 3 or 4 laps, and I guess I have so far. So next up is testing the waters on where you can't overtake.
Well, overtaking hopefully will not be an issue for you starting on the pole. We will drop you back down, let you get ready for the race, and good luck tonight.
Yep, thank you guys.
So you heard it from him. He has no experience at this track whatsoever. Hopped in 15 minutes before the race started. And he's on the pole. Absolutely incredible.
So, what lap time would he have done had he had more time to practice?
Probably world record pace because he was flying.
Yeah, that is mildly terrifying for the rest of the competition.
So, starting on your front row tonight is going to be Carter Lundy and Ted Burns. Row number 2 will have David Porcelli and and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. Row number 3 will have Nicholas Daly and Everett Paddock. Row number 4, Richard Holt and Brian Labarge. Row number 5, Mobin Khan, Rod Eskew. Row number 6, Mike Holler and Simon Fell. And bringing up the back end of the field is Wes Shire and Stephen Thompson. So, pretty stacked field we got tonight.
Yeah, as always, that's what you always love to see on SOF night. Has to be agonizing for everyone in the cars to deal with the full pace lap at such a long track like this. Like, sometimes the last thing you want as a driver is more time to think.
So as these guys, this looks like another pit lane. I assume this is for one of the alternate circuits here at Virginia International Raceway. One of the many alternate circuits this track features.
If only we could run Patriot.
Which one is that? Is that the one that uses all of the track? Now, this is not the full circuit. There's a lot of track that we do not run here. And
if I remember correctly, which I probably didn't, Patriot is the one that's the infield. That one's great because it's even narrower, a lot more elevation change, and a lot smaller. So that would be even better for pure chaos.
Oh yeah, that one sounds like it could be fun for maybe a Fast Masters event.
Yeah, I raced it in a rallycross car. Would recommend.
So pace cars pulling in. These guys are going to be pulling away now. Carter Lundy on the inside in the one, Burns on the outside, and they're getting ready to go.
And as always, race fans, the star of the race is yours.
Lundy clear and green all in front of him. No pressure behind from Ted Burns, just kind of running away with this one so far.
Yeah, this is going to take the script we usually see. All the top cars just line up and try to get to a big enough line as they can and get rid of as many cars behind as they can. Already starting to get some separation.
Yeah, these top two, week in, week out, they're number 1 car and the number 2 car, and they run away from everybody else.
Yeah, they are so close to breaking the draft. Dave and the law firm are going to be working really hard to stay nose to tail.
Yeah, you can see the gap between David Porcelli and Ted Burns, who is passing Carter Lundy for the lead now down the big main straightaway, is 0.6 of a second. Ted Burns now going to try and control the race. Carter Lundy now going to be in close tow as these guys come around to complete lap number 1. Only 15 laps here. Doesn't sound like a lot, but this is, what, a 4-point-something mile circuit?
Yeah, it's nearly 2 minutes a lap. Oh, bobble from Ted.
Bobble from Ted, and Carter is right there to take advantage. Carter Lundy is your leader once again. Good battle going on right now for the 7th position, but I don't want to take my eyes off these top 3 just yet. David Percelli now catching these top 2. And Ted Burns trying to put the pressure on Carter Lundy. We will follow along with Ted Burns. They go into what I believe is Oak Tree. Carter Lundy getting a little bit loose, getting a little bit in the grass, but he's going to be A-OK. This is where you saw Ted Burns make the move on the previous lap. He's running a good deal less downforce than Carter, I can tell. And he's getting the huge draft. He's going to make another run. And it looks like he's going to get it done. Ted Burns comfortably in the first position now. But Carter's going to be right there. Let's see if he can make another move going into turn 1. And James, is that kind of what happens here at this track, where you kind of just swap draft down each straightaway and kind of pass for the lead each time, or is this kind of unusual?
A little more unusual, but I feel like Ted feels that he can't really afford to just kind of sit behind Carter.
Carter going to try it around the outside. Not going to happen. David Percelli going to be new quick time. He's following these guys running side by side now through the first couple of corners, and Carter is going to get it once again. You heard him earlier in the race talking about how he's going to look for passing opportunities, and I think he's finding a couple.
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off there, James.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, that's a really risky move going around the outside. It's such a really difficult turn 1. So it's really impressive move.
These guys now nose to tail coming up the back straightaway again. Will we see Ted Burns try and make another move on Lundy? Lundy trying to snake up and down the straightaway. This is only going to bring Hazelworth closer to these 3.
Law firm is just outside of the draft range, so I don't think it's going to affect it too much.
Ted Burns getting that move completed. Carter Lundy even closer now this time. Lundy is all over the gearbox of that number 1 machine of Ted Burns. Down the front straightaway once again. Where is Lundy going to make the lunge? Lundy seems to be better in the early sectors of the track, but of course the back sectors is what matters. Ted Burns has finished across the line and I guess led every lap of this race so far. Which, when it comes down to the checkered flag, that's all that matters.
Yeah, so I wonder if we're gonna see Carter try it from the other side. Basically, sit behind Ted and pass him down the back straightaway like Ted's been doing, and see how that works.
One thing he's got to worry about with that strategy, though, is David Percelli is right on the rear wing of Carter as well. So if Carter sits around and waits till the backstretch, that gives David Percelli a chance to make the move, and he seems to be looking right now and putting the pressure on Lundy. Coming through Oak Tree now, getting ready to go down the back straightaway. Lundy getting a huge run down there. Is he going to have enough draft to get move done on Ted Burns? Looks like they're pretty even. Lundy's running so much downforce on that car, he can't pull out, make a move, but he's going to try it anyway. Side by side now, and Lundy's going to make the lunge. Not able to clear just yet, though. He's on the outside. Oh, there he goes. Ted Burns has to check up, but he's going to go for the crossover now.
Whoa, that's not a great place to go too wide. Oh, man.
Porcelli's going to make it 3 wide. Lundy has to back out of it. It's going to be Lundy and Porcelli side by side now coming into turn number 1. And again, Ted Burns was first across the line. So that low downforce set seems to be working for him tonight. Carter Lundy with a big twitch going on right there. This is fantastically the best battle on the racetrack right now. The rest of the field seems to have single filed and straightened out. David Porcelli making a look on Carter Lundy, not able to get anything done though.
All right, here we go. What's going to happen this time?
Lundy again not running much more downforce than Ted Burns, so he's even with him in the draft. He really has to make the lunge going into the corner. David Porcelli falling off a bit now. It's just going to be these two going for it. They're going to try and run side by side down the front straightaway. You see Ted Burns, though. He's able to just stay right in front. Unless Carter can make a big move happen, I think it's going to be Ted Burns' race to lose.
We'll see. Low downforce means a harder car to drive.
Although, Carter Lundy getting the fastest lap of the race here on lap number 6, so those tires haven't worn off yet.
Ooh, a little wide.
Yeah, Lundy is trying to force Ted Burns into making a mistake. These guys have made contact here in the past, but so far they're keeping it very clean and respectful tonight.
Yeah, like low downforce at a track like this, you're a lot higher risk of making a mistake. That's why the risk for a mistake from Ted Burns is very low. It's still a little higher than if he had a little more wing to play with.
Steven Thompson, we'll keep a close eye on him. He is sitting back there in the 13th position, checked in before the race started, saying, hey, I'm 2 seconds off the pace. We'll treat this as a don't get lap challenge. Currently still on the lead lap, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as we get to the closing laps of this race. Carter Lundy making the huge lunge on Ted Burns. Not able to get anything happening there, but he is definitely in Ted Burns' head now. David Porcelli still just sitting back. We'll ride on board with him and kind of get a look at these getting. Coming down the front straightaway now. David Porcelli making a look. He's going to get inside of Carter Lundy. Lundy's going to get to the outside of Burns through Oak Tree. Going to try it. Ted Burns, though, running that much less downforce I keep talking about. So he's got the advantage here. That was not through Oak Tree. I just think all these corners were Oak Tree. They took the tree down. I have no idea what corner I'm talking about anymore. It's amazing.
Easy to get lost at this track.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how close on pace all three of these guys are. It's like synchronized swimming watching these guys. They're all hitting almost the same exact line. You can see Ted Burns, though. He's looking, seeing where he can find a little bit of an advantage over Carter Lundy. This is Oak Tree here. Let's see if Ted Burns can get another huge run. Lundy runs wide, but he's going to make it work. Ted Burns closing on Lundy. Gaps down the 2/10 now. 1/10, getting ready to make the dive. Going to be side by side and clear by the corner. And they swap once again, and it looks like Burns is going to lead this lap as well. I wonder if Lundy just uses these races as kind of a practice for the USF races. That's really where he shines in those, not that he's not shining now, but he shines in those fixed setup races where everything is all equal and really can show off his raw talent.
I think he just used every race as a practice for the SOFs.
We're going to tune in quick to the battle for the 8th position, as Richard Holt is chasing down Brian Labarge, trying to get that position from him. Brian Labarge running wide. No! As soon as we put the camera on him, goes into the grass. Oh, man. All right, we'll take the camera right off him. Hopefully he can make that position up. But these guys are still fighting here at the front. I'm going to get some hate mail from Brian later. Just a reminder to all of our viewers, send all hate mail to bizzle@nationalracingnetwork.com as Carter Lundy is going for another lunge for the lead. Round the outside nonetheless. He seems to be getting that done, finishing the move in the switch back to the left-hand corner. Ted Burns going to make another run down. Not able to get the move completed, but he's going to cross Carter Lundy over. That's a door that Carter Lundy keeps leaving open, and he really needs to stop that if he wants to try and win this race. Able to seal the deal, though, not able to let Ted Burns by, which is frankly what he wants. David Bercelli making the move on Ted Burns now. Not going to get anything done, but letting him know, hey, I'm here too. You don't only have to worry about Carter. Big wiggle out of Ted Burns right there. The heat is turned up. Only 6 laps left in this race, so not a lot of time for these drivers to make a bunch more moves. Not a ton of passing opportunities on this track. Very narrow track. A lot of drafting opportunities, but with how far Carter Lundy is ahead, I don't know if Ted Burns can get him on the draft anymore.
I don't know. We'll see. It's still a lot more downforce on Carter's car, but wow, he might be into the promised land. If he can keep this, he's going to have so much more speed through this final section. He might be free.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about running the higher downforce, is you really have to capitalize and run away from these guys going into the straightaways. We're going to see just how much Ted Burns catches Carter Lundy as he tries to snake. Gap now down to half a second, 4/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second coming into turn 1, 2/10 into the braking zone. That's where Carter gets all of his money back up to 4/10 of a second of a gap. So you can see he makes it all up in the corners, but he's really struggling down the straightaways. Working on lap number 10 out of 15 now. God, I love the old Marshall posts at this track. They're just like little wooden buildings. They've got similar ones over at Lime Rock. I believe Summit Point has one of them right in the infield of the carousel. It's kind of iconic of the old days of motorsport. I don't know. Just brings just a vibe to it, I guess.
The nostalgia, man, it's so prevalent here at this track. It's just so old school. That's what's great about it.
Yeah, you can see the red barns to the side of the speedway. I mean, it almost feels like this track was built in the 50s and they haven't touched a thing.
Except getting rid of the best feature of the track.
Well, the tree fell over in a storm. They didn't exactly get rid of it.
They could have replanted it.
They did outside the corners.
Boo!
Carter Lundy with the big wiggle there. Ted Burns able to close in. Gap now down to 3 seconds through the twisty, or 3/10 through the twisties. Coming down the front straightaway again, you're going to see Ted Burns try and make a lunge past Carter Lundy. Lundy is going to get the lap led. Gap now down to 1/10 of a second. Ted Burns getting the new fastest lap, and he's going to get the move done in turn 1. I spoke too soon. Lundy able to get the move off into the left-hander. I think he's going to clear Ted Burns. And he does. Ted Burns going to try and cross over. Maybe able to do it. Still there on the inside, but in the switchback, Lundy is going to clear once again. I don't think I've ever seen these guys race like this. Usually they're able to keep it up for a lap or two and there's contact, but we're 11 laps in and these guys haven't touched wheels once.
It's fantastic.
Side by side again, Ted Burns able to get the move on Carter Lundy. Ted Burns, new race leader. Oh, almost contact there. Carter Lundy almost getting in the gearbox of Ted Burns. Manages to avoid it. David Bercelli sitting back there. Probably just pulling the popcorn out of the microwave now and getting ready to toss it out the window and go make a move on these guys. Just waiting for them to screw up a little bit and swing on right by them. Carter Lundy trying to make the lunge. Ted Burns closes the door quick, though, knowing what Carter Lundy's going to do. Carter is really going to have to look for a new passing opportunity here. He's played all of his cards too early in this race, I think, and Ted Burns is expecting each and every one of them now.
Yeah, well, Teddy B is a crafty so-and-so. You're going to have to get up pretty early in the morning and pull one over on him.
Carter going to try it once again on the outside. If he could just stick side by side coming into the left-hander, he's usually able to make it stick. Still there, side by side. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Clear! Carter Lundy, new race leader. I feel bad for all of the other drivers. We haven't given them much screen time, other than, unfortunately, Brian Labar's running off track, but just can't take our eyes off this battle for the lead. There's been a lead change about 6 times each and every lap.
After what we did with Brian, we're doing everyone a favor.
That is correct. Ted Burns getting into the grass a little bit. David Bercelli almost able to capitalize. He is now on the rear gearbox of Ted Burns. Ted Burns going to try and run away from him down the straightaway. Ted Burns going to try and make another lunge. Will he clear him by the corner? No, not even close. Can't go for the switchback. Carter Lundy keeps the door shut. Takes the defensive line through the left-hander. And Ted Burns really only has his next shot on the front straightaway. He's got to stay right on the rear gearbox of Carter Lundy if he wants to make something happen in the drag race down to the line. You can see that gap shrinking, but not fast enough. If this were a checkered flag, it'd be Lundy's, but Ted Burns going to try and make another move. He is going to not quite be clear just yet. If he could stay side by side, he's not going to. Almost leaves the door open for David Bercelli now. So Bercelli really in the hunt, wanting to get on that second step or hopefully even the first step of this podium. You can see just how far Carter Lundy pulls away in this essence. I don't even need to give you the numbers. He is just pulling away from there visibly. Ted Burns catching up through the flat-out section, though.
It's gotta be painful going through the straightaways and just seeing them catch right back up. You're like, come on, what more do I gotta do?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the fun of this track. There's 2 different setup ideologies at work. It's just like we saw on Tuesday at the Oval. You can have a high downforce car, low downforce car, or medium downforce car, and they're all pretty much equal when we saw at Gateway. here at VIR, obviously we got right turns. They're not exactly the same, but the same philosophy. Ted Burns going to try and make another lunge. Will he clear him by the corner? This time he will. Leaves the door open, though, and Lundy's able to stick it right in. Takes the defensive line through the left-hander, though, and leaves Lundy out of it. Has to back out of the corner. And from what we've seen, this is exactly what Ted Burns has to do. Lundy not able to get the lunge coming across the line, so Ted Burns is going to have to be in front of Carter Lundy going down the back straightaway, or it's just not going to happen from him. It's going to be who leads coming out of the back straightaway. David Bertrelli trying to put himself in the fight now. Still just not able to get the move done. Lap 14 out of 15, just 2 more laps to go. Don't forget, after this race, we'll be taking a nice short break after the interviews, and then coming right back at you with the USF2000 race from the same track with most of the same drivers. Second to last time now down the back straightaway. Carter Lundy has to stay right on the rear wing of Ted Burns and make the lunge going into the corner. This is his final practice run at making that move to try and win the race. I think he pulled out just a hair too early there. We'll see if it works or not. He's going to remain side by side.
Oh, this is not a place you want to be side by side.
Oh, no contact. They get through clean, and Carter Lundy is going to be your leader. Now, is Ted Burns going to be able to pass him coming across the front straightaway in the 1 and make Lundy have to repeat that move? I don't know if I'd want to try that twice, but you're going to have to if you want to win this race. Gap now down to just 1/10 of a second. Ted Burns going to pull out. Can Lundy stay side by side? No, he can't, and Porcelli's going to go side by side in the 1. Still, Porcelli not able to do it, and Ted Burns runs wide. It's going to be Carter, Porcelli, and Burns.
What a disaster for Ted.
Final lap here, and Ted Burns, did he throw it away in turn 1? Carter Lundy running wide. David Porcelli trying to make the move, doesn't get it done there. Still in second position. David Bertrelli trying to get the move now through the S's. David Bertrelli sneaks out into the lead. He is going to clear Carter Lundy. Ted Burns looking for it, not able to make anything happen there. Now into Oak Tree. Carter Lundy not able to get it done, but he's going to have the whole run down the straightaway. Now it's time to see how much downforce Porcelli's running. Porcelli's going to try and snake him. Lundy not being nearly as aggressive with it. That's going to help him pick up some time. Gap now down to 0.2 of a second. Ted Burns, they're going to make it 3 wide coming into here. No way this works. Ted Burns gets himself comfortably back into the lead. And frankly, I don't think there's another passing opportunity unless Lundy really forces the issue. He's going to try it now. Has to back out of it and not make contact. Coming down onto the front straightaway once again. This is Lundy's last chance. I don't think he has enough in it to do it. He's going to try. It's going to be Ted Burns across the line. Carter Lundy second. Porcelli third. Paddock going to finish in the 4th position. Nicholas Daly now coming across the line in the 5th position. Alexander Wesley Hazelworth in 6th. Mobin Khan finishing 7th. Rod Eskew 8th. We'll wait till they get across the line to call it. Richard Holt now finishing in the 10th position. Brian Labarge 9th. I don't know how I skipped over him. Wes Shire coming across in 11th. Mike Holler in 12th. Simon Fell and Stephen Thompson. This could be a battle for the final spot. It's going to go to Simon Fell in 13th and Stephen Thompson in 14th. Thompson, we'll give a congratulations to you. You didn't go a lap down like you thought you were. But Ted Burns, of course, going to be your winner. These 3 are going to celebrate, come across the line, wave to all the fans. What a fantastic show these guys put on, James.
It was incredible. It has to be one of the best races we've ever broadcast this series.
And it's with the B team. No Chris Graham tonight, and hell, we had one of the best races I think I have ever seen here on the National Racing Network. Holy cow. Carter Lundy pulling into the alternate pits. His pit crew and team aren't there, so it's going to be a long push to load that car up. Oh, he's going to pull out in front of him. He jukes him out. As Ted Burns and David Bercelli say, screw this. We're going to park it right here on the backstretch. Our cam op right there showing the Marshall post. Not sure what he's up to. But why don't we get our drivers ready for the interviews? Because holy cow, that was a fun one. And first, we'll bring our leader in, Ted Burns. What a fantastic race tonight. Congratulations on the win, of course. Holy crap. What were you thinking that whole time? Because I am just lost for words.
Well, I mean, at least on the first lap of we were going up the S's, I was like, oh boy, I'm running a lot less downforce than these other two guys. So I got to try and use that to my advantage. And, Carter put up a great fight. And, we were duking it out all race. And I was telling him, I think I knew exactly what to do if I was in first or in second, because we went through like every scenario throughout that race. But coming to the last lap, I didn't know what to do when I was in third. So I was like, all right, we're just gonna do it live and try sending it. And oh man, going 3 wide down the back straight. That was a little sketchy, but I knew I could. I knew I had a little bit longer. I go a little bit deeper in the brakes and at the end of the straight, and so I sent it in as deep as I could, and was able to come out in front there. And I knew once I got down into hog pen out in front that no one was going past to the line. So.
Hell yeah.
It was a tough battle.
You went 2 for 1 there. We thought you were done when you slid off and went into third position. We saw moves done on one guy, but never on two. So we were kind of saying it was going to be whoever leads coming out of the backstretch. Is that kind of what your thought was, where Lundy was much faster in the corners, obviously, but just not able to get something done in that final sector? So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of times where he was quick enough to like right on my tail and able to shove it up, the inside or hanging around the outside at the end of the back straight. So I knew if he got in that position, I was in front. I knew he was going to send it, so I'd have to try something under braking. But I knew if I was behind, I had the speed. But coming out of 2, I knew it was about like 6/10 behind. I could still clear someone. And I came out of Oak Tree and I saw I was 6/10 behind David, and I was like, all right, I guess there's a chance. And yeah, there's just enough speed to get that one done. Oh man.
Well, hell yeah. Will we see you again in the USF race?
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be a much more even downforce in that one, so I think it'll be very different racecraft. But looking forward to battling with these guys again.
Awesome. Feel free to give us all your sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yep, got to thank Downforce Racing. We had a really fast car, even if we took off all the downforce. And I got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's a lot of fun to go back and watch each week. And thanks to everyone for coming out and driving the series.
Hell yeah. Thank you for coming out here and putting on one hell of a show for us. And hopefully we're speaking to you again on the USF2000 race.
Yep, hope to see you later.
Next up, we will bring in our second position finishing driver, Carter Lundy. Unfortunately not able to get it done, but led a whole bunch of laps, led a whole bunch of the race, just not able to make it happen going through the final sector.
Nope. So it was a tight race, and as I said, I jumped on before the race with not much practice. So throughout the race, I was just trying to battle hard and see what you could do and see where you could pass. And I had it all mapped out a little bit. So I needed to be right on this rear down the straight, and then if I was first, I had to be a little bit more ahead. But out of all the outcomes that I had thought of in my head, I didn't really predict us going 3 wide into the final few corners. So that really threw us all off a little bit. And then fortunately, I was just the farthest car back into the braking zone, so I couldn't really send it too much. But David went a little bit deep, so I got the switch back on him, and then I dipped my nose in on Ted into that downhill left, and he completely cut me off. So I just backed out just in time. So if I was a little bit more committed, we'd let David win the race there.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to do that. Now, Ted was taking the low downforce philosophy. He had just about all of the downforce off the car, as we could clearly see that he was pulling away from you, whether he was in front or whether you were in front. He was getting the huge drafts on you. Did you kind of take more of the high downforce, we're going to be much quicker in the corners philosophy, or is that just how you were driving the car?
No, as I said, I just hopped on, loaded the most recent setup in the PM18 chat. So happened to have high downforce, so overall not quite what I needed, but yeah, it was clearly much quicker in the corners, but it just wasn't enough overall.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully we're speaking to you again there in the USF2000 race, but feel free to give us all your sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yep, thanks you guys for the broadcast, doing it without Chris. Looking forward to watching this one back when we're done. And thanks to Ted and David for the great race, and thanks to Team Watson Racing. I think that's teamwatsonracingsetups.com. James, maybe you want to correct me there?
Nope, teamwatsonracing.com. That's it.
Yep, for the Indy Pro setup. So you
I
got me the P2, but maybe you could just lower the downforce a little bit for next time. But thanks,
Just a
thanks to you
smidge.
both, and I gotta go do some practice now.
James, I think there's a bit of a conflict of interest here. Well, Carter,
really.
thank you very much for putting on one hell of a show for us, and hopefully we're speaking to you again in the next one.
Yep.
And last but certainly not least is going to be David Percelli. Percelli finishing in the third position. He was there all night. David, you had one hell of a show going on in front of you, and you really put yourself into it on that final lap. What was going through your head?
It's the only lap that matters, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, same mantra of every week. You know, my job is to collect the points. I have a championship sitting in front of me. Can't risk too much going for a race win. You know, Everett. I was able to separate from Everett, who's second in the points right now. So really happy I was able to remind the boys up front that I was in fact there on the last lap. And just a little bit gutted that I couldn't secure second. I knew Ted was gonna fly past us on the back straight. There was not much we were going to be able to do about it. Hoping that maybe because he was the third car in line, that might give me a slight opportunity, and it just wasn't enough. And then heading into the brake zone at the end of the back straight, I just slightly missed my line, and Carter was able to get around me. But such a great race and a lot of fun, and happy to take home the podium.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for putting on a good show. Why don't you give us all your sponsor plugs and thank yous?
Alrighty. Shout out to Team Watson Racing, Satellite Racing. Thanks to Racecraft One Indianapolis. Hi to the family. And thanks to National Racing Network for putting on an awesome show every week. And I hope to see you guys in the booth in about 45 minutes.
Hell yeah. We're hoping to speak to you too. So, good luck in the next race, and thanks for putting on a good show.
Rock and roll, guys. See you soon. Peace.
Well, James, I think that was one of the best races I have ever seen, and frankly, I think the USF race coming after this, that might be an even better one with the fixed setups. Everyone's running the same amount of downforce. I think those guys are going to put on one hell of a show once again.
Yeah, we lucked out. It was difficult for us without our flagship announcer, so they really made it easy on us being able to call a really entertaining race, not having to rely on our own lukewarm commentary to fill the air.
Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back, but we're going to show you USF2000 racing starting at around 10 o'clock tonight. So give us about 8 minutes, rest our voices a little bit, and don't touch that dial. Welcome back to the iRacing Open Wheel D Series here on the National Race Network for our Thursday night doubleheader. We just saw a fantastic race in the C-Class cars. Here in the D-Class cars, though, we're a fixed setup, so no more downforce shenanigans, no more craziness, just pure raw driving skill. Joining us tonight will be Johnny Avila, a regular on our Wednesday night shows. Unfortunately, not winning the championship last night. Had more important things to do, like some silly soccer game or something.
You would just bring that up right off the bat, eh?
Oh, of course I would. Gotta throw you right under the bus. Johnny Avila driving the car tonight. He's going to be one of our in-car commentators. Never turning a lap at this track before, so we're going to ride on board with him for his qualifying attempt. Looks to be running my paint scheme for the USF car. I'm not sure we can show that one on air, but we will anyway.
I said last week I wanted to give these things a shot. I probably should have practiced. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where the turns are and occasionally screaming.
Yeah, we'll follow along with his outlap, and we'll do a shot every time he goes off the track. Getting the car a little bit loose, not used to the open differentials these things have, more used to his stock car limited slip differentials.
We will be dead from alcohol poisoning by lap 3.
Yes, we
Hey.
will.
I haven't crashed yet. Mind you, I can't see the track anymore.
Yep, riding along in the helmet cam with Johnny Avila. Missing every single apex, doesn't know where it's going to go, and that's an off track to the folks at home. That is your first shot for tonight, coming in the oak tree.
Drink.
Yep.
I'll drink too.
I don't think that's a good idea here sitting in the car. Coming down the backstretch now, where we saw many passes made in the previous race. Not sure Johnny Avila is going to be doing much of that here tonight, but he might try.
I gotta go left here and then right, I think.
You are correct. It's going to be a bare
Alright.
left. You're going to make a right-hander and then another left-hand corner. Let's see if you can do it without going off the track. You
No.
cannot. Not a chance. We will follow on board with the driver who knows what he's doing now. We will follow with Carter Lundy. Making his first lap. Here we go. Carter Lundy, you can see much smoother, knows where all of the corners are. Hits the apex perfectly going into turn number 1. Another notable driver in tonight's race will be Garrett Maines. Garrett Maines is a NASCAR Coke Series driver, pro-level driver on iRacing, runs for Elliott Sadler. So fantastic to see him on our airwaves tonight, running what I think is one of the greatest cars on iRacing. But Johnny, you might disagree. You're a stock car guy.
Nah, these things are fantastic. They're a handful to drive. I just need to know where I'm going. But yeah, these cars are a lot of fun actually.
Now, Johnny, you are allowed to turn on the racing line for this series. Being a D-Class series, you can turn it on if you want. We might make fun of you here in the booth, but you can do it.
My pride won't let me. I think I got it figured out. I might be able to put in a time.
Now, Johnny Avila, one of the highest rating oval guys we cover here on the National Race Network. He's only good enough on the roadside to make it to the number 12 car. And that's not saying anything against his talent. It's just saying these guys are fantastically good. Even Garrett Maines, a NASCAR Pro Series driver, is only the number 3 car. So
Let's not forget that Garrett is also a former off-road pro as well with the Rallycross. Basically, the man is insanely talented, so it's cool to see him up here and racing with the guys we see on a weekly basis.
hang on. Carter Lundy goes quick time by over half a second over Ted Burns. With the cars being equal, with the downforces being equal, I can't believe it.
That's Carter Lundy for you.
Yeah. Carter Lundy, another guy who this is his first time here on the track. Carter Lundy, though, a road-specific guy. Not entirely road specific, but it's his home place. Garrett Maines going second quick at a 148.487. Still 3/10 behind the man, the myth, the legend, Carter Lundy. Edward Brown only going to be taking one lap. His time is going to be a 148.861. So, not able to do much better than fourth, and not going to try and improve on his lap time. So we'll take another glance at Johnny Avila, see how his qualifying attempt is going. Seems to be keeping it on the track a little bit better this section. Caught him out last time, able to make it through Oak Tree just fine. Oh, does he get the 1X? Barely clips the grass, probably still fine there.
He should be okay, hopefully.
I'm still good.
You can do it!
I believe
Carter
in me
Lundy
too.
goes even faster with a 147.940. I'm not sure how he does it. Only driver in the 147s. Johnny Avila able to make it cleanly now through the final sector of the track, or am I speaking too soon? Going through the final corner. Looks like Johnny Avila is going to get a lap in after all.
Do you believe in miracles?
What I hit? It's not bad.
Johnny Avila good enough for slowest on the board, going to be a 1 minute 51.367. 3.5 seconds back from Carter Lundy. And
Only
over
3
a second
seconds
back from Powell Kuzmarek.
What place is he?
10th. One in front
Nice.
of you. Ted Burns still out there trying to complete another lap. Or, no, he already completed both of his. He's just out there getting some extra practice in. Still a minute left in the session. Tyler Pierre Richards not able to get a time in. Neither is Rob Campbell. Rob Campbell actually still on his second lap. He could get one in, but Pierre Richards not able to get either time in, reaching a 1X on both of his qualifying laps.
I feel sorry for whoever has to start behind me.
I feel sorry for the leaders when they come to lap you. Rob Campbell qualifying faster than Johnny Avila in the 11th position with a 1 minute 50.863.
Oh man, I'm setting the bar high.
20 seconds left here in qualifying. Ted Burns going to take another lap. Obviously not going to count, but all the practice he can get is going to help in the fight against Carter Lundy. And he's got Garrett Maines to contend with too. So that concludes the qualifying session. Carter Lundy going to be your pole sitter once again for one of these races at VIR. Garrett Maines taking the spot side by side with him, going to be in the second position. Row number 2 is going to have Ted Burns and Edward Brown. Row number 3, David Porcelli and Nicholas Daly. Row number 4, Rod Eskew and Brian Labarge. Row number 5, having Mike Holler and Powell Kuzmarek. Row number 6, having Rob Campbell and our very own in-car reporter, Johnny Avila, and Tyler Pierre Richards going to be in the 13th position. As we wait for all the drivers to go and take the grid.
It's a good thing he's not starting right behind me, at least.
So, Johnny, first impressions on this track. Love it, hate it, too difficult, or you think you're going to get a handle on it by the end of this one?
It's a neat track. There's a lot of blind corners, so trying to figure it out is definitely the hard part, but I think once you get in a groove, it has a lot of flow to it. Like the S section there, you can kind of just drive straight through it. It's a nice track. I just got to remember where the turns are.
Yeah, that's the key thing. It's not like the ovals where next turn's going to be a left-hander. Now,
Oh yeah.
you were going to get a lap to at slow speed, try and figure out where everything is. Obviously, we do a full pace lap here, a brutally long full pace lap here.
Well. Ooh, boy. Everybody's warming up them tires.
Oh, yeah.
They don't wreck when they do that.
I believe you've said that before on the airwaves, and then you have proceeded to wreck when you did that.
Me? No, I think you're mistaken. There certainly isn't any proof of it in a YouTube video that's readily available somewhere. Certainly not. Nope. I don't know what you're talking about.
I would say we'd bring up Brian LaBarge for a pre-race interview, but he specifically told us, don't bring me in unless I'm on the podium, so I will respect his wishes. Brian and our very own Ben Carswell, not in the top split, they made one hell of a playlist for me, and frankly, I don't know whether you like or hate some of the music they gave me, but it's all interesting. So I will respect their wishes. They did a very kind thing for me. Garrett Maines in that STP-colored car on the inside of Carter Lundy. Frankly, it's a very simple scheme, but I kind of dig it. Looks especially good up there on that podium.
It really does. You know, I always love bright schemes that stick out.
So now, Johnny, this right-hander, double apex right-hander you're going into, this is known as Oak Tree. There used to be a big oak tree right before the apex of this corner. Unfortunately, that tree fell down and is now planted outside of the corner. Just a little history about the track. I believe that tree went down in 2015 or 16 after standing there for over 100 years.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So you see the driver snaking, trying to warm the tires up. Not sure it's going to matter much because they're going to have to be more focused on chasing Carter Lundy down. He has shown himself to be the quickest guy at this track, losing last night or the previous race on just draft speed alone. So going to be a tough one tonight.
I wonder how much of a bigger pack we're going to get for this race.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very draft-heavy race going down the front and back straightaways. Only 8 laps here in the USF2000, so a nice, short, quick race. Shouldn't take more than 15 minutes or so. As the iRacing safety car is pulling in, these guys are getting ready to go off. Just waiting for Carter Lundy to hit the loud pedal, and there he goes, going to smash that pedal down. He's going to take the lead clear and easy from Garrett Maines, and Ted Burns now going to run side by side with Garrett Maines going into the first corner. Ted Burns almost making contact with Lundy, really trying to get the dive on Garrett Maines. He does, but who's that on his outside? It's going to be
Oh, are we 3
David
wide?
Bertelli.
Oh, we're 3 wide. Oh my god. Oh, Garrett wanted to send it.
Hey, he is still sending it. Ted Burns now making the move on Carter Lundy, going to be on the inside here, not able to get the switch back. Now through the S's, they're going to be single file the whole way through the field. Johnny Avila we see going through the grass, going to be spinning and looping and saves the car nice and clean, but fortunately not much going to happen there. Ted Burns going to be side by side once again with Carter Lundy, able to get it done, and Garrett Maines is right behind Carter Lundy now, going to be looking up that gearbox, going up into Oak Tree.
You need a massive set to make a pass through there. Ted is not messing around.
No setup helped to keep Ted Burns ahead of Carter Lundy. Lundy's going to pull out early and try and get the move done. Will we see this racing as clean as we did in the PM18s? I think we will. Side by side, Carter Lundy's going to have the inside of the left
it's a big wiggle.
Lundy safely in the lead once again. Garrett Maines now hungry for a win in the USF2000 car, going to be right on the gearbox of Ted Burns. David Borcelli looking up the inside of Garrett Maines, going to slot back right in line. These top four looking to make another breakaway like we saw in the previous race.
David trying the outside. Can't quite pull it off.
Yep, has to slot back in line. Now only 8 laps in this one, so the pressure is going to be high from the start of the green flag. So these guys have no time to relax. If you can open that door and make the move, you have to stick your nose in there and make it.
No attack and no chance in all of those good little metaphors that usually end in broken carbon fiber.
There we go. We got the timing tower up for all of you. Johnny Avila donating some iRating to everyone, sitting 20 seconds back from the leaders.
Gotta love it.
He's just living his best life. Isn't that right, Johnny?
Yep. I don't have to worry about hitting anybody back here.
There you go. The 10 car, Mike Holler, getting a little bit sideways there into the dirt. Not a rallycross car tonight. Garrett Maines going to try and sneak out outside, try and make the move on Ted Burns.
Carter is loving looking at this in his mirror. Oh, smart move by Garrett.
Oh, but Ted runs
won
wide!
it!
Ted is going to get shuffled back to the 4th position, and that put Garrett Maines right behind Carter Lundy. Garrett Maines, of course, an actual pro here on iRacing, one of the best of the best. Carter Lundy, we just call him a pro, but he's just really, really good. So can he fight off one of the iRacing pay drivers?
You know Carter was probably seeing that going, you couldn't have done that in the last race.
David Borcelli going to have your fastest lap now.
Thankfully, Ted was not able to lose any serious ground and actually brought Brown back up into the fray too. Brown was on the edge of losing the draft, but this worked out perfectly for him.
Yeah, but this is turning into a 5-car battle for second place. Carter Lundy starting to run away from these guys. Now 7 tenths ahead of Garrett Maines. Maines still in drafting distance, but he's going to have to put in a lot of work if he wants to catch all the way back up to Lundy. Working their 3rd time through Oak Tree now. Lundy is 6 tenths of a second ahead of Garrett Maines. Maines going to have the huge draft help trying to catch up to Lundy, but I don't see that number dropping very quickly. So,
it's dropping. Carter got a big wiggle on the outside of Oak Tree.
Yeah, but Puccelli's going to run side by side against Garrett Maines now. He's going to have the inopportune move coming into the left. Maybe not. He has to back out of it, though. I saw some smoke out of Carter Lundy.
I did, too. I thought we might see a car in the grass.
Looks like trouble for Brian Labarge. Nope, no trouble. He's just going around the racetrack. Unfortunately passed by Tyler Pierre Richards, but that's racing. Focusing back on the leaders now, Carter Lundy still comfortably ahead, but not as comfortably as before. Gap down to 3 tenths of a second. Ted Burns' new fastest lap. These guys running a little bit calmer than they were in the previous race halfway through this one.
Yeah, not quite the constant lead change after lead change, but not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, these guys are all on the same setup here, so no advantage to be gained down the straightaways or the corners. It's all just raw driving talent here tonight.
seem
Like-
to be lacking that.
Looks like more issues for Aller again.
Yeah, Mike Holler, you can see some smoke back there. He's back on the racetrack, but unfortunately in the 12th position. All 5 of these guys still in line. You can throw a blanket over all of those cars, I think. Garrett Maines closing 0.2 of a second. Not quite close enough to pull out, but close enough to put the heat on Carter Lundy. But David Borcelli is right there in the rear gearbox of Maines. All 5 of these cars. Oh, man, Carter Lundy getting into the grass a little bit. That's going to allow Maines to really catch up and maybe make a dive going in the 1. He's going to try around the outside. We saw this, that 3 wide in turn 1. Lundy has to back out of it. Lundy going to be in the 3rd position. New fast lap, Ted Burns in the 147s.
Wow. That's racing. The smallest little mistake just cost Carter Lundy 3 spots.
Yeah, Lundy back down into the 4th position. He's going to have to really fight to get back up there to the front, but no real passing opportunities here. You kind of have to wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake. It's not like the PM18 where you can get the power off the corner or have the huge runs with downforce. All of these guys, you keep saying it, they're all equal tonight. Garrett Maines, the pro, now up there in the top spot. Dave Porcelli trying to show he's one to contend with and going to try and make the move on Maines going in the oak tree. Maines keeps the door closed and nothing Porcelli can do. Porcelli can only stay as close as he can and try and get the run coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Garrett wasn't able to get that great of an exit off of the corner with that shallow line, so he's going to give a run to David.
David going to try and get side by side now. This is where Carter made his mistake, though. David not going to be quite clear, but if he can stay side by side into the following left-hander. Oh, man. Still side by side,
he's still
though.
there.
Nope. Garrett clears him.
That's so anxiety-inducing, man.
You know, I don't think I was ever a hater of this track, but it definitely wasn't one of my favorites. But I think these guys are starting to convert me into this is one of my favorite tracks.
I contend that my lack of skill around here is not indicative on how great this place is.
Side by side now for the 2nd position. It's going to be Ted Burns and David Borcelli. Carter Lundy right behind them. This is a tale I think I've seen before. It's only none of them are leading this time.
Brad is watching this like, I want to know what's going through his mind watching this. This has to be enthralling. We think our seats are good.
Yeah, we'll ride on board with Edward Brown and watch these 4 cars snake away right in front of him. He seems to be losing them a little bit, or maybe wisely backing off in case they all wadded up.
Which is a possibility. Oh,
Garrett gets
off.
in the grass. You can see how close they all get, and then they kind of fan out again once they get to the straightaway. It's almost like playing pole position or something in the old arcades, where you're just kind of watching all the cars in front of you, and they kind of fan out and get back into one giant pixel on the screen again.
Side by side again.
Yep, side by side. Oh, there's contact! Garrett is up and over. Garrett going to fall back now into the 6th position. Ted Burns going to be your leader, but is there damage on Ted Burns' car? I mean, that was pretty significant contact to lift Garrett Maines up and over.
I don't think it was
And
Ted that was
it was Porcelli. Porcelli is in the pits. Along with Johnny Avila, we see they're no longer in the car. Oh, yeah, there is no wing on that car. Garrett Maines, his car looks fairly clean. He's able to get away from it.
I knew it was only a matter of time before that was going to happen. You could only get away with side-by-side through there so many times. Such a tight corner, off camber. It's just easy for the car to just slide up or slide down just that little bit. The fact that it didn't happen sooner and more often is just a testament to the overall skill level of these guys.
Yeah, unfortunately my replay box not working tonight, but no need. These guys are still fighting like crazy for the first position. It's almost a repeat of last night, or the previous race. I keep calling it last night. It was half an hour ago. Johnny, not sure if you're getting our feed, but what are you thinking of the racing here so far?
It's pretty intense and pretty crazy. I can't believe that they haven't crashed more, to be honest.
Yeah, only one major incident so far in this race, and it was for the lead. As Ted Burns trying to look and find where he can make a move on Carter Lundy. Doesn't have the downforce advantage going down the straightaways this time.
I tell you, that entire incident almost got Nicholas Daly back in the draft. He was about 2 seconds behind, and it got him to about flirting with 1.2. Just agonizingly close.
Yep, side by side going through the first couple of corners. Still going to be Lundy with the advantage.
Oh, Ted sending it again. Oh! Ooh. And don't look now, but there's Edward Brown battling for the lead now.
Yeah, Edward Brown joining this fight. He was kind of just sitting back before, but now that the top two were taken out, nothing to lose at this point. Last lap, final passing opportunities here, last time through Oak Tree. Doesn't look like anyone has a huge advantage. This is going to be, I think, Ted Burns' last shot at getting the pass done on Carter Lundy. He's going to give it everything he's got, goes for the big move. Lundy tries to block him, but can't get it done. Ted Burns going to have the advantage coming into the corner. They're going to be side by side, and there's contact! And Edward Brown is going to be the leader. Lundy not able to make the move just yet. Coming down the final straightaway, it's going to be a drag race. Can Lundy pull out and get it done? I'm not sure he's going to be able to. Coming across the line now. Lundy going to look out to the side. It's going to be side by side. Ed Brown, excuse me, by 1/10 of a second. Nicholas Daly finishing in third, and Ted Burns, unfortunately, in the fourth position. Garrett Main's going to come home in fifth. Rob Campbell going to be sixth. Tyler Pierre Richards going to try and get the sixth position, but he's going to be in seventh. Brian Labard's going to be in the eighth position. Rod Eskew ninth. Kuzmarek going to be in 10th. Porcelli 11th. Oh, they put a new rear wing on that car. Mike Holler going to finish in the 12th position, and Johnny Avila sitting in pit lane going to finish 13th.
So, we called it. Ed Brown was just biding his time, waiting, and wow, it like played into his hands perfectly.
Yeah, he couldn't have run a more flawless race. Watch these guys, watch a fantastic show going on, and then when they screw it all up, run right by them. looking for everyone for our interviews. So does not look like we are going to have looks like we're going to have Ed Brown in here, but we will pull in our second place finisher, Carter Lundy. Carter finishing second tonight after some contact with Ted Burns. What happened there?
Yeah, just Jesus, the game chat's just going a little bit crazy here. I need to mute them. Yeah, I just locked up the front left, missed the apex by like a foot maybe. Just slightly too far off the curb, and clipped his rear wheel. Yeah, just really unfortunate, I guess. Obviously not on purpose. It was a great race in the first race, and it was a lot of fun in the second race as well until that crash. But all for the entertainment of you guys in the booth, I guess. That race had a few crashes there.
Yeah, I mean, looked like a flawless race from just about everyone. Some contact there from Garrett Maines and David Porcelli put you guys up at the front, and then you guys managed to make contact, and Ed Brown ended up winning the race. I mean, did you foresee any of that happening tonight, or do you expect more of a calm race?
Well, there was a lot of people at the front. There was 5 of us in the group there, so it was really tight. There was not a lot of place to go. We were all so close and all trying to go through the same piece of track. So, yeah, it was sorry, the game chat's really throwing me off right now. I don't have a mute button. Yeah, it was unfortunate about those incidents. Just looking through the one with David and Garrett right now. Again, I think that one looks like a racing incident. It doesn't look like one is too much to blame for it. And then I think with myself and Ted, I guess I take 100% of the blame for just locking up and going slightly wide.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like you absolutely dive bombed him. I missed the breaking point a little bit, but nothing malicious. It's racing for the last lap, trying to get the checkered flag. So why don't you give us all
Yeah,
your sponsor plugs and thank yous, and hopefully we're talking to you again either next Tuesday or next week.
yeah. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast without Chris tonight. So I'm gonna be looking forward to watching that one back. Thanks to everybody driving for making it an entertaining race and an entertaining night. And yeah, that's all. Thank you guys again.
Yep, and thank you for giving us a great show once again. All right, next up, we are going to bring in our.
I think that would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I think so as well. Ted, unfortunately, finishing in the 4th position tonight. You were leading the race coming out of the straightaway, and just looked like Carter went for the dive bomb, locked it up, and unfortunately got into you. What happened there?
Yeah, that's just kind of a that's kind of how that corner goes. It's the road falls away from you, especially if you're on the right side line there. Preferred brake line, is actually to the left. There coming into the corner, and you kind of sweep back across as you turn in. So it's it's just a tricky brake zone, and I kind of knew that. So that's why I knew he was defending inside, knew I was going to be on the preferred brake line, but he had a chance of locking up, and I sent it in deep and left him, no room for air, and he also went a little bit deep, had a little bit of lockup. So, I mean, I can't fault him too much for that. I mean, I probably would have done the same thing if I was on the inside there. So, I'm just gonna chalk it up to racing incident. I should have gone a little bit wider there for him, but it's always tough to get spun like that coming to the end. It would have been nice to be up there on the box, but it's P4, that's racing, and it was a lot of fun up until then.
Hell yeah. I mean, during the PM18 race, you guys did that probably 15 times in a row, each and every lap. And every time I had to close my eyes, turn away because I thought something was going to happen. And unfortunately, it took to the checkered flag lap of the USF race for something to happen. But still, 4th place, not a bad result for you tonight. Why don't you give us all your sponsor plugs and thank yous once again?
Yeah, for sure. I got to thank Downforce Racing. Guys who put in a lot of work each week. Come out here, be fast, and I got to thank you guys for putting on such a great broadcast, and everyone for coming out, racing the series. I know we had a couple new faces tonight, some of which got a little spicy with, but we had a surprise newcomer win the race. I was talking with Ed in the chat, and in the official session, he doesn't have a mic, so he couldn't be here for an interview tonight. But he sends his regards, and was just as surprised as we all were to see him up there at the top. So thanks to everyone for coming out, and yeah, see you
Hell
guys
yeah.
hopefully next week.
Yeah, hopefully we're talking to you next week. Hopefully we get Ed Brown in here so we can talk to him next week if he manages to pulls off another surprise win, because that was caught me by surprise. I wasn't quick enough on the button to get the pass. I did not expect that to happen.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, you don't see many passes coming down roller coaster, but he drove a good race. It was clean, and put his car in the right spot at the right time. So props to him.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for putting on one hell of a show for us, and hopefully we're seeing you next week.
Yeah, see you guys then.
So, before we kill the show, Johnny, what are your first impressions of this track? Fun one. You want to see maybe some Racers Club come race here and bring the stock cars onto the circuit?
That would actually be amazing. This track's a lot of fun. I think the next time I try to run one of these things, I'm gonna practice a little bit more so I can actually put on a little bit of a show. But these cars are definitely a handful, but a lot of fun to drive. So I think I'm a little hooked.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully we see you out in these things more, because you look like you had a blast drifting it through the qualifying lap, even though there was a lot of grass. But these things do race on ovals, and I'm kind of curious to see how you run with them on the ovals, because I definitely think you'll be up front.
Wait, what? These things are actually go on ovals?
Yeah,
Sure do.
Oh,
Next week is Oval Week at Gateway.
I don't know if I'll make it. I don't know if the Charlotte race will be done in time.
Screw the Charlotte race. Come run these things.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's the last race of round one.
Who cares
not
about
locked in.
Road to Pro?
Come on, I want to be like Garrett Maines and go flying.
Oh, man. Well, James, we saw two fantastic races here tonight. What are your thoughts on what happened?
It was crazy. Like, we saw, this was one of the best nights of racing we've seen. Like, every race was drama-filled and crazy. I cannot believe what we were able to witness tonight. All kinds of action and jaw-dropping events.
Yeah, I did not expect that out of VIR. Now, I've never actually watched the race at VIR, so it almost makes me want to go to the IMSA race later this year and kind of camp out like I do at Lime Rock and watch those cars race around here, because holy cow, this was one hell of a race. Well, I think that's all we have for you tonight here on the National Race Network. Be sure to catch us tomorrow. We've got Camel GT action coming at you at 3 or 5 p.m. Eastern. Chris would know the exact time. I am not Chris, though. So hopefully we catch you there. If not, we will catch you next week for Silver Crowns Monday night. And you all have a great night. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Patrick Byrne. Of course, joined tonight was James Watson and Johnny Avila for the